Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. God, it's been so long.
How was your week off?
Me week off. Week off was pretty cool. Pardon the phone, but it's for the table shot later. I will move this so it's not completely obscuring me. But yeah, week off was fantastic. Obviously, the British election was exciting for the first time in fucking God knows how long, because it wasn't just the usual suspects riding the merry-go-round of fucking victory. Your turn now, Labour. Your turn now, Tory. Fucking. So yeah, fingers crossed for the next one. It could be even more exciting, where we fucking break the two-party monopoly that's actually got this stupid country in its stranglehold and has had for, I don't know, the last fucking 100 and odd years.
No, because didn't we have a Lib Dem Prime Minister in the run-up to World War II? But
oh yeah, probably.
Or World War
Anyway,
I don't know. I'll go look in a minute.
It was quite good. And just while we're on the subject of, can I just say, didn't he do well? Didn't David and Sam do such a fantastic job on last week's stream? I tell you what, I'm going to be taking more weeks off, I reckon. It's a bloody good topic.
You, cunt. That was stressful.
Yeah, liberal. Lib Dems wasn't a thing then. He was just straightforward liberal. So yeah, I think they did an absolutely spanking job while I was off. It was a great stream. Hope everybody enjoyed it. So welcome to the show. If you're joining us for the first time, over the next couple of hours, David and I are going to be running down our usual format, which is we will show you what we're going to be modelling or hobbying on tonight during the show. We will then have a quick chat about Gaming Club on Monday. There isn't really any news to talk about, so expect that part of the show to be fucking waffly as fuck. And then about 9 o'clock-ish, we'll get into our main topic, which you will see from the thumbnail, is to chat a little bit about bolt action. We might get into some general historical wargaming waffle on the periphery, but we'll try and keep it as focused as possible on Bolt Action's highly anticipated new edition, which is coming out in September. I guess the first thing to do is give a shout out to the real stars of the show, which is all the guys in chat whose nonsense we can see scrolling by at the moment. So we've got the usual suspects. We got Darren, also known as Demon Sub, on Instagram, recommended as a follow if anybody's not already following Darren. Great painter and posts some great pictures on
the fuck are you doing?
Instagram. And looking at Darren, he's basically going to be working on photography tonight. So I imagine he'll be photographing his latest models to display on Instagram. We've got Upworlder, also known as Trevor, Cheese Me, also now Cheese Me, what's your OTT? Limburger, also known as Limburger. Everybody has aliases here. We have Orinoco, who doesn't have an alias because they were sensible and picked the same damn username for both platforms. Hans Grabber, who is the amazing Paul from Pandyman Entertainment. Good to see you tonight, sir. And Spam and Egg, who is Sam from last week's show and David's other half. So yeah, good evening to you one and all. Welcome back. Not that you were away, it was me that was away, but you know what I meant.
Fuck off, Trevor. That is salt to talk about later.
Oh, Trevor, your psychic powers are strong, sir. You knew exactly where his brain was going. Yeah, that will feature in the main topic later. So, do you want to go first, mate, and show what you're working on, or should I go first?
We can do. I'm doing a bit of everything. I've lost my bin. Bollocks.
No, I tell you what, I'm not counting bin face. If I wasn't somebody whose personality really wasn't well suited to politics, because the one thing I can't stand is negotiating a position, disappointment in an outcome, or inane stupidity in my fucking fellow colleagues, then I'd be a reform candidate. I wouldn't be wearing a bin on my fucking head. So yeah, come on then, David. What are you up to? I think
So
we're in the
let's
workshop.
go to my
We're in the
video.
workshop over at David's, I think.
Some of you may notice that these are the minis that had an encounter with a concrete pavement.
I like that leopard spotting on the base. That's very fetching.
It's a one and only. Can't stand any stupidity in this show. Fuck you, Cheese Me, if you're insinuating that I'm stupid.
Oh my god!
You,
I've just had a revelationary moment. Camera feed goes dead.
Oh wow! Cancel Paul. Okay, yeah, we've got this. So I'm repairing these because I've got a Carnivale demo game with Spam and Paul 2 weeks on Saturday. So I'm repairing shit ready for the game. Then I've just repaired a Necromunda mini. But I played some Flames of War on Monday, and I have some casualties of war, boys and girls.
Oh my god, what's he done? Broken off at the feet?
Yep, broken off at the feet.
Oh, that's a bit
because they're shitty, hard PVC resin, and the contact point is like fucking 0.5 mil through their ankle.
Oh, great. So, hello, Shakos. Good to see you. Hello, Ewok. Good to see you, sir.
So I'm going to be on repair job with this tonight. If that repair job goes well, I will be finishing to build fucking Trevor's Armada minis.
So if you finish everything you've got to do, you'll work on other people's shit. Right.
Yeah, that's how this shit goes.
Let's go down to what I'm doing here. So da. Boom. Turn this on, turn that off. I'm going to be doing this is quite a good little job for live stream. This is my Frostgrave tent that I started work on the other day. Basically, I've just got, it's a bit of a mind-numbing, tedious job, but I've basically just got to go around and mark these stitches on the top of the tent with, he said, German camo medium brown. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and then I'll do the rope around the top edge of the roof here. I'm going to probably use a beige colour for that. In fact, I have Iraqi sand out just for the purposes thereof. So that's what I'm going to be doing. While we sit and chat. So obviously we know what Darren's doing. He's going to be doing his photography. If you are going to be doing any hobby tonight, then stick it in the chat and let us know what you're up to. Let me just, I'm going to have a little bit of a tweak here. So I don't know if you want to talk amongst yourselves. I will get some photos of our games that we played on Monday night, and we will tell you all about the club.
Everybody wants to cancel everyone apparently tonight.
It's last week was cancel week. We're not. It's not a theme.
No, last week wasn't cancel week. The week before was cancel.
Oh, was it
week.
The week before? Sorry. Okay.
You weren't here last week, you incompetent.
That's true. That is very true. I wasn't. Right, oh my god, it's time to clean out this folder. How many photos have I got in this folder, for fuck's sake? How am I supposed to
Stop
find...
downloading the 4K midget porn.
How am I supposed to find anything, god damn it?
Be organised, dude.
You say that like it's easy.
Ewok, Iraqi sand, terrible colour, never used. Cancel Iraqi sand!
Oh dear. Only works with Russian uniform. Anything else is absolute treachery. Okay, maybe I don't have pictures of the game. That's a bit crap.
What? The game on Monday?
Yeah, I thought I'd just uploaded them off my fair phone.
Discord. Because mine are in there, you melon.
Okay. I'm going to move this phone out of my face. And I'm just going to quickly have a shufty at whether I actually uploaded the pictures or not.
You did?
Yeah.
Because you made comment that it was a very fucking 40K, World War II week. You melon.
Okay. So yeah, it tells me the files are uploaded. Well, if they're uploaded, you stupid fucking machine, why can I not see them? Technical difficulties have struck early in the show.
Well, if you did more prep work.
No, pick on me.
Like last week, I was waiting for you to upload the fucking painting competition pics. Actually, right, that's the thing we can talk about a minute. Sorry, boys and girls, public service announcement. In the stress of hosting for the first time ever, I absolutely flew through last week and consequently completely forgot to announce the painting competition topic. So the next month's topic is night and day. And it will be judged on the 5th of August. So you guys have until the 7th of August to submit your entries so that we can look at them and talk about them on the 8th.
Night and day, you say?
Night and day.
So what am I going to be doing for night and day? I'm going to try this one more time.
Damon Brentnell organises a wargaming euphemism for move shit around into different piles while looking for the stuff you have lost. No, that's just organising full stop, Damon.
Damon, he's right. He's not lying. That is exactly how he organises anything. If you really want to be traumatised,
hang on.
Oh my God, he's off.
We'll traumatise him right now. Let me spin around.
Show him the paint collection. I daren't even look. I'll be like gagging.
Would you like to see my paint organisation?
Fucking hell.
It's so bad, it's actually twisted and warped the lid there.
Fucking hell. That is just an absolute obscenity, mate. Absolute fucking obscenity. Right. Refresh. Where the fuck are these pictures? God damn it.
Well,
okay, right. I don't know. Is the honest answer?
Shakos, that looks too tiny. Mine's in a bucket. Bargain or
personal pictures, saved pictures. That's where I've just put the fucking things. Huh.
Mantic, we need to have words. While you're doing that, can you just go down to my desk cam a second?
Yeah,
because we need to have words with Mantic.
Right, what are you on the warpath for Mantic for?
Armada again.
Oh God.
Right, this boat lives on this 25mm base. If the boat is smaller than the block of resin it is attached to, is there even any point in casting it? Genuinely, look at that. There is more resin in the gate than there is in the boat.
Right, okay.
It's not a ship, Shakos. It's not big enough to be called a ship. It's a boat.
Okay. I have the problem right here. Oh my God.
The Modiphius sprues weren't terrible, but this is obnoxious. And the fact that the sprue gate is a third the width of the bottom of the fucker. What is that about? This ship has no fucking rigging. It's a boat right now.
Yeah, rigging, I think, is definitely a step too far. Okay, I think I see the problem.
And that's the size of the sail that will be going on the fucker.
Okay, yeah.
I use the ones and zeros for my Armada stuff. I did that as well because, again, Armada and Mantic, in their infinite wisdom, the fronts of these boats have male and female things on. So this one's got a male bit on, this one's got a female bit on. This hull's got a male protrusion, this has got a female protrusion. No, other way around, but semantics. So you choose between these two fronts to put on this boat. So what I've had to do is print out another hull and sail set to put this on the front of another boat. No, Shakos, all boats must not be rigged because I play dwarves, and dwarves don't have sails.
No, that is true. You do have other advantages. Right, okay.
Please me, salty. Yes, I fucking am salty when the
Right, that's it. I give
miniature
up.
is smaller than the piece of resin that it is supplied with.
I give
I
up.
could whittle this piece of resin into another boat.
Oh dear. That's what it is, mate.
It's big enough to.
It's a bloody scrimshaw project. You just have to sort of, whittle it into something nautical. That's what the plan is.
These aren't even my minis, and I'm getting salty about them. Just saying, boys and girls. Just saying.
To be fair, how much cheaper could it be if they would just fucking save on the resin? I think we need we need to know this stuff.
We go to this. This was the base of one of these hulls. Again, there is as much resin in this as there is in this. You are paying for 2 boats, but you only get 1. Rant over.
Right, I will not be able to show pictures of. Yes, I will. Fucking hell. Oh my god, what the hell, computer? Content display, slideshow, properties, add pictures, add files. Right, okay.
I haven't printed them yet, Upworlder. I've been busy.
That one.
They wouldn't fit on the bed. While Paul's sorting that out a minute, let's lean out of shot. Bollocks, that's my printer up the wall. I still haven't cleaned them up yet, but there's your hull and your sails.
Oh, is this your printing, Trevor, some of your ones and zeros Mantic
I've printed Trevor another front so I can stick, or another back and sail set so I can stick a proper front on it.
Sweet. Right, I don't invoke the curse. Shakos makes an excellent point that the resin is cheaper than the labour to actually run the casting process. That is definitely something that's probably the case here in the UK, where frankly the labour costs of anything are going to be the most expensive element. Right, guys. Club! I finally have pickies! Woohoo! We can get there. So we had a bit of a World War II. I was going to use the word orgy, but given this crowd, that would probably be a bad move.
It's entirely the wrong word to use with these.
Bit of a World War II binge. So, first of all, myself and Ricky played another of the missions from the Bolt Action 2nd Edition rulebook. He was running his generic German Heer platoon against my Japanese Fall of Singapore theatre list. And we were playing, we normally roll random...
Doing that well-known historical battle.
Yeah, that's obviously historically accurate to every, spot on there, we're not just fucking playing any old shit.
Don't you be rubbing that in, Ewok.
We played the mission. We normally roll randomly because I think there's like 2 tables in the Warlord rulebook. But instead of rolling randomly, we've played 4 or 5 games now. We decided to cherry pick ones that we've not rolled or played before, and we selected the one where there is an objective in the center of the table, whether that's like a crashed plane or a wrecked armored car, and you have to grab an objective from that and then basically get it off the board. So we created a sort of like a village with an objective in the center of it, and then surrounded it with tank traps to keep the vehicles out so that somebody couldn't just chuck it into a vehicle and then leg it. And it was a good game. It was probably one of the second best game. It's probably the second best game of bolt action I've ever had. We really enjoyed the scenario. I ended up winning by the fucking narrowest of margins in turn 5. If I'm honest, I only really won because of the dice mechanic. For those of you who don't know, Bolt Action's initiative system runs where each of the players puts
I will be right back. There's someone at my door.
Each of the players puts a dice into a bag for each unit they have in play, and then you rattle the bag up and pull a dice at random. So obviously, if it comes out your dice, you activate a unit. If it comes out your opponent, they activate a unit. And it just so happened that I managed, even though I had something like half as many dice left in the bag as Ricky, because the Germans were kicking my ass, I managed to get 2 Japanese dice out, first 2 pulls out of the bag, and managed to get my unit with the objective off the table, and win the scenario by securing the objective. So to be honest, it was a bit of a fluke win, because I tell you what, if the German dice had come out first, my unit that was carrying the objective would have been absolutely shredded by machine gun fire, because Ricky still had his Panzer IV in play. He had an SDK half track with machine guns in play. So he was basically just bearing down on my poor little Japanese soldiers running for their lives, and he would have absolutely shredded them with machine gun fire. But I'll take a lucky win over a skillful one every day of the week. And like I say, for just a couple of the order dice coming out in a different order, it would have been a very different game. So I really enjoyed that. I notice I've got here, the next picture I've got here is actually not a game David and I were playing, but the lads at the club were playing Shatter Point. So a couple of young lads have started to come with their dad recently, Rich, who's sometimes in chat but isn't there now. Paul, we will come back to that. We will come back because obviously it's going to be feeding very heavily into the main topic. Star Wars Crisis Protocol, also known as Shatter Point. The game I didn't want to like, but I hate to say I think it might be actually quite a good game. The only thing that I don't understand with this game is I think they've leaned too heavily into the card thing. Like, I get why you would have your missions randomly generated by a series of cards, which are the ones you can see in the bottom right-hand corner with the Roman numerals on, because it gives you a very variable play experience. I don't understand why they would have the initiative system where you essentially it works a bit like Mythic Battles Pantheon that David and I were playing the other day, where you have cards and you flip over a deck of cards and it shows you what unit you're activating. Obviously it's identical in a way to the random activate. Well, no, it's because not only because effectively you and your opponent alternate flipping over decks of your cards so that you know it's I go, you go, but it doesn't give you control over what you activate in what order. And I don't understand why that was made as a game decision. If anybody has a theory as to why they chose that as a game design decision, let me know. Because I think it is basically just frustrating, because it's like, oh, I could really do with these units coming out in this order so I can get this combo off. And then they all come out in the arse about face opposite order. And it's just like, okay, so now I've either got to postpone this one, or do you know what I mean? I don't understand why you would do that unless they got the only thing I can think is they got so far into the design space and they said, Oh, do you know what? We fucked up a bit here because this could be a bit of an alpha strike. Because if you choose what order you do things in, you get such a powerful combo off, you can annihilate your opponent. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll make it random, so then you can't choose to do that. And if that was the reason they did it, then that's just shit design. Fix the problem. Don't stick a plaster on it. But like I say, this, oh, I get to activate something, but I don't know what it is. Why would you do that? I mean, even Mythic Battles Pantheon that we played the other day, you have a hand of cards, and you might not have the card you need in the hand, but at least you see the cards you've got to pick from to make an informed choice to activate a unit. Surely agency, not victim of random, not better design? Question mark. Maybe I'm just being an arsehole for the sake of being an arsehole, but that's me. What do you think, mate? David? Are you there? Oh, it looks like David's lost audio. Now, we did have issues earlier where David couldn't hear my microphone. So maybe that's a thing again. Welcome to technical difficulties. Are you back?
I punched the mute button on my microphone before I left.
Clown. Yeah, did you hear what I was saying? So what do you reckon to the Shatter Point Star Wars Crisis Protocol thing, the random activation of units? Am I missing something? What's your theory?
You can put one to one side, and there is the Shatter Point card.
Yeah, which can activate anything. So that's one card in your deck.
Maybe, as you say, the
Evening Tauros.
The sticking plaster of, well, fuck it, go in a random order and fuck you, is enough to make the game not broken as a play experience.
Cheese Me has made a point. Honestly, mate, I don't know, because I've not played the game enough to know what abilities are on the units that are out yet. But Cheese Me says, I wonder if there's a cards or things that allow you to switch the order of the activation deck. So almost like program it. So they sort of like said the default status is random, but you can program it with other abilities. That would make sense. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, maybe that is a thing. Somebody who's a bit more expert in Shatter Point can let us know. And then David got to play his favourite version of World War II at the moment, which is Flames of War, isn't it, mate?
Oh, yes, I did.
Shakov says the mic got crusted over from the saltiness.
So I played 100 points of Americans versus 100 points of Germans, and fuck me, was this a good game. Game mode's called Dust Up. Table is divided into 4 quadrants.
Yes, Shakov's 3rd edition.
In V4.
Is it 4th edition?
Flames. Yes, it is V4.
Whichever the most up-to-date one. Yeah, V4.
So, just on the left-hand side of that picture, you will see a grey base with an orange dice on and a grey base in a copse of woods with a blue dice on. They were my objectives on my deployment area. All of my reserves were arriving at the very far north of the map up near the tape measure. The other way around that this was playing was Alex's deployment area was behind the hills in the north of the village, and then all his reinforcements were coming on stage right. My God, absolutely amazing game. Played with night fighting. Alex was feeling a little bit outgunned with my Pershings, but
Toros was trolling me. Do you see Toros's comment? Where's that professional presenter you had last week gone? Fuck off, Toros. Fuck off. Sorry, carry on, mate.
As I was saying, Alex doesn't like my Pershings.
To be fair, I don't like them much, and I bring tigers.
They open Panzer IVs like tin cans. The fucking anti-tank ridiculous. What is it again?
14, 15. They are
Anti-tank 14.
Yeah, I knew they were fucking ridiculous.
They're
Do you know?
just
Thank you, Darren. Do that. Darren says an amazing table. Do you know what? That's what David's really pulled out all the stops on that. What have you got left to paint? You've got a little bit of painting and washing left on the walls, haven't you?
Wall,
Tree bases aren't quite there yet.
No,
but
the trees need sealing.
It's really coming together.
What's the other thing I was going to say? Church still to finish that isn't on this table.
The fields look cool.
But the rivers that run across that table that may look like dirt roads to some people are a new addition. Yes, they are Empires at War building Shakos.
Very good value for money. They're not. I think it's fair to say they're not spectacular MDF terrain, but they're not expensive for what they get, are you, mate? Are they, mate?
No.
They are very good value. Yeah, your rivers just need glossing up. Once you've got the water effect or whatever you're going to do, PVA, just to give them that gloss up, they'll work as rivers. Are you going to do any bocage and hedging?
I may do.
Okay.
Haven't yet.
Okay. You don't know whether you're going to buy it or build it?
Well, the problem I have with the bocage is, right, at the moment, if I rip the Empires of War buildings off this table and I rip the dry stone walling off this table...
Yes.
I have a fantasy 28mm table.
Yeah, or a bolt action table even.
If I make bocage that's the appropriate scale for 15, it may be a little small for 28.
I don't know though. Hedges can be any height. I mean, if you imagine like domestic garden hedges, I mean, my great aunt and uncle used to have a hedge that was basically just fucking knee height, made out of lavender. So and yet you see, and you couldn't, yet that you go all the way from that to like 10-foot privet hedge, don't you? So you've got, I think you'll get away with all sorts, mate. I don't think you should worry about it too much. And again, if it really bugs you out, you can always just do two different scales. Do big hedges for use in your 28mm games, and do little hedges for this. I just wondered if you, because I tell you, the fields.
What I have got to do, I want to pimp what I've got out first. So I want to pimp the walls out, finish the walls. I want to. The objective bases that I have at the moment are literally just 3D printed rectangles.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm playing Flames of War quite regularly between Americans and Germans at the moment, I'm going to make 2 American objectives, 2 German objectives. One of each of the American and German objectives is going to be like a fuel dump.
Yeah.
So I'm going to print a load of cans, jerry cans, barrels, and then I'm going to put a Nazi flag over it and a US flag over it, over the other one. So that'll be my 2 objectives. Then the final 2 objectives, because I'm playing the Germans, I'm going to get a crashed BF 109 or something.
Yep.
And do that for the German player. And then for the American player, I'm going to get the Wacko glider that the paratroop guys arrive in, crash and smash that all up, and that's going to be a second objective.
And that'll be 1s and 0s to the rescue on that, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Toros says bocage hedges in real life are huge. Yeah, Toros, I think I'm right in saying that they're like fucking 12, 15 feet tall and about that deep and thick, aren't they? They're almost like linear woodland features, from what I've seen on video and stuff. They're absolutely fucking huge.
Yes,
and they tend to be built on
well past D-Day list because it.
Go on, mate. Yeah.
It is a well past D-Day list. It is a Battle of the Bulge list.
Yeah, yeah.
Paul, you haven't got your vibrator in deep enough.
Fossway being a defensive structure rather than. Yeah, okay. That sounds interesting. Very interesting. Was that on YouTube, Taros? Or was that some other platform that video was on? I might search that out. So yeah, much World War II goodness was had all around, wasn't it, mate? Two fantastic games with two very
Yes.
different systems. But we will come back to World War II. February 45 till the end of war. Yeah, Fossa. Yeah. Some of my Schoolboy Latin coming back to me. Right, let's go and have a look. There's just one thing I wanted to mention, and I'll be honest, it's a bit of a contrivance, just so that I can say, yeah, there was some news this week. Because I tell you what, anybody else think there's been fuck all happening out there in the real world this week? Or when I say the real world, of course, I mean the gaming and hobby world, because that's the only world that matters. Uncle Atom did a rather cool video. To be fair, do you know what was quite cool about this video? Was it echoed a lot of the stuff that we've talked about on the stream about basically finding your motivation to get projects finished. So he basically lists all of the things like preparing for a game or a competition tournament, whatever. Just finding those sort of like goals to give you the motivation to push forward with not the chores, but the tasks that you need to finish to get a project over the line. As are all Uncle Atom's videos, it's about 10 minutes. This one, just a nice little quick video, but it's good stuff. Great content from Tabletop minions as usual. Ooh,
It's because I did all your news last week.
Trench Offensive 1.5 should be ready by November. Now, I think I saw you posted a picture of like a rules summary thing, didn't I, Paul? Was that on Insta? I saw that, or Facebook? Yeah, they're fucking horrible. The Pershings. Oh my god, I can't imagine them in bolt action, but we'll come back to tanks in bolt action. I'm sure we will. See news in chat. Which chat's that? Cheese me. Is that the Discord? On Tabletop Discord? You are talking about?
About how Canadian did you go, Boyle?
What news is this?
You got it already here. Don't know.
Oh, right. Other World Minis is having a closing day down sale, that one. Cool. Okay. Other World Minis. What? I guess they were doing what? Metals, as you're sort of touting it, Darren. And that's your sort of like favourite.
Kit and caboodle.
Oh, I tell you what. I'm not. I had to buy myself a new headpiece magnifier thing because my old one finally got broken too many times. Oh my god, apparently there's not much left already. Bless him. I'm just going to put this on. I'm not a fan. My old one was better.
That's what they all say.
If you ever see, if anybody was thinking about getting this sort of type, I've seen loads of people wearing them on the internet. They don't work well if you're already a glasses wearer. The one I had is much better if you're already a glasses wearer. Thanks, Toros. I'll have a look at that. I do like my British history stuff. So D&D and fantasy style minis, Darren is saying.
Nice, but not nice that they're closing.
Yeah, what's the story behind them closing down? Is it a guy retiring, or is it they're just not successful enough, or what? What's the story behind it, guys?
Kevin's retiring.
Oh, bless him. I'm just having a quick look now. Ooh.
I've broken 2 pairs of those magnifiers
Oh, wow.
in a year.
God, yeah. They've got some absolutely iconic things from D&D, haven't they? Owlbears, Beholders. I love that, the Demon Idol diorama that's basically lifted. See if I can share this with everybody. That they've lifted off the front of the Dungeon Master's Guide for, what was it, first edition AD&D? That is so cool. Here we go. So let's see how we get on with this. See if we can operate this without breaking the fucking stream. 45 quid's a bit pricey, but that is very nice. Can you are you gonna pop out for me? No, it's this stupid little zoom thing. Oh, can we do this? Yeah, that's better. That is super cool. That is fucking amazing. I'd love to have something like that. 45 quid out of stock. God damn it. But yeah, okay, so if you want a bargain, guys, go and see what's left. And fill your boots.
Slim pickings.
Otherworld miniatures. Cool.
It's like Indie of the Week. Crooked Dice have bought around 80 of their miniatures. Kevin will post a list in the future of who else has bought the minis. Apparently looks like Paul's mother-in-law.
Indie of the Week. I'm assuming Jerry's already done Indie of the Week. Oh, he's... Yeah, I'm sure Jerry's already covered Otherworld miniatures. Hi, Chris.
Evening, Chris.
Yeah, that D&D thing, that would have fucking had my money if I'd have seen it in time. How are we doing for time? We've got about 15 minutes left before we need to tackle main topic o'clock. I'll tell you what I will do. I don't know. I've sort of like lost the thread because I wasn't here for a week. Everybody knows about my issues that I was having with Warcradle Scenics over the Tillinghast Mannered kit that I bought.
Oh, is it your turn to get salty about people on the internet?
Not at all. So I think I mentioned to you guys that I got a fantastic guy called Jake, I believe was his name. I apologise if I got your name wrong, sir, whoever you were. Got in touch with me to try and resolve my issue and get my stuff sorted out. And Paul says we could discuss how to get Pandyman as Indie of the Week. Just keep plugging away, Paul. Jerry will get round to you eventually. There's only so many people making models and that out there. I'll come back to that, Trevor. So basically, yeah, this guy called Jake got involved, and he basically sorted me out, got everything. I got exactly the pieces that I needed, so I got a replacement of this sprue, which has got some pieces that there aren't enough of in the main kit. And you probably can't see, but these window sections, now this is properly cut, this scrub sprue. David and I have mentioned about their sprues not being quite fully cut through. This one has been cut within an inch of its life and is literally falling apart. So
Jesus.
I
Let's
think
turn the power up then.
I think whether that's related to the link I sent him of our video where David did a big long rant about stuff not being properly cut through and the grief it gave him making his kits, and whether this, but I do have the feeling that this is a freshly cut piece of kit. But in summary, they gave me everything that I asked for. In fairness, they didn't give me anything else. So, you know.
Oh, right.
But you know, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to say, you know, I don't think it's fair for these companies to sort of like say, well, you could have given me, you know, a freebie. You could have given me a sweetener. Do you know what I mean? They've given me what I asked for. That's all you can ask. And Cheesy says, never ask for specifics. What do you do?
I am gonna
just make me happy.
Say, though,
yeah, go on, mate.
Modiphius, I had a rant last week about them.
God.
They have not bothered to reply. So woe fucking betide them if it's been 2 weeks and they don't reply, because I will be tearing them a new arsehole.
Should have just leave that on. Oh dear! I never thought what I should do is edit the image and actually put the word Modiphius on the side of the salt.
Gets better, right?
I was just about to turn that off as well.
I'm gonna fucking go on one now, right? I'm fucking gonna go on one. They've turned around and said that there's delays for everything shipping at the moment because they've decided to move the UK warehouse to somewhere else.
Oh, I did see that actually.
Why the fuck has a member of staff not bothered to tell me this fact? Secondly, why the fuck then have you been taking pre-orders for Fallout Factions that released last week, and yet you can't fulfill them at the moment because you decided, fuck it, let's move warehouse?
Yeah, do you know what? I did.
They don't communicate. They don't communicate, Shakos. This is the fucking problem I've got. I have had to chase them fucking repeatedly.
I must confess, when I did see that news, I can't remember where I saw it actually about their moving.
Instagram, I think. Or
oh, yeah, I think you're probably right.
Sure. One or two of them.
And then I did think, well, that's weird because David's been speaking to them and they didn't say to him, yeah, your shit's going to be delayed because we're moving. And I'm like, well, surely you'd just tell them. Just tell your customer, yeah, sorry, mate, we're not going to be able to do this for a week or two because we're actually moving location. Surely you would do that
if they just fucking said that.
Okay.
But again, it was Router's fucking bullshit excuse of, oh, well, they're being manufactured. We've had some delays. If you hold the shaker upside down while talking about Modiphius, then the salt will fall out.
Excellent. Are you done then, mate? Are you finished?
No, I'm not fucking finished, and I won't be fucking finished until I get my fucking content, Modiphius. I ordered this in May. This is absurd.
Guys, do you think I should paint my Fallout stuff on stream next week just to keep triggering him? Is that something that we should do?
I've got my survivors built. But this is ridiculous now. This is my third or fourth time ranting about their customer service. They will never get a purchase from me in the future.
Limburger says we better post. We posted this on YouTube. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I would rather go to Goblin or even a third party I have never used before, because I can hazard a guess that they're going to fucking talk to me better than Modiphius are.
I guarantee, to be fair, if you'd have phoned Goblin would have said, yeah, don't expect it for a few weeks because we've heard they're moving or something. I guarantee they'd have told you that.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Because again, what I will probably end up doing is clip the certain section out of this one and last week's one and be sending them to Router.
Oh my God. Oh dear. In answer to, so Upworlder asked earlier, what does it take to get a gold button on tabletop? From my experience, mate, very little. I feel a bit of a fraud for the. I think I've got 4 so far. What I would say is this. I tell you what it doesn't take to get a golden button on tabletop is you don't have to be a competition level painter. You don't have to be a crystal brush winning painter. What you need to do is just capture their imagination, and obviously all of the team get involved. Ben does it. I think you guys can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I think Ben is one of the main guys who does it, but Jerry is very involved with choosing golden buttons. And literally all you need to do is just put a project up that captures their imagination or their attention in some way. Do you know? Yeah, and like I say, I mean, some of the things that I've had win gold buttons have sort of shocked me. So like when I did my, I've got one here. When I did my little Dungeons and Dragons doggo things, and I decided to convert them to Frostgrave, and I only put up 3 or 4 of the miniatures. I didn't even sort of finish the project wholly, but again, it was something a little bit different, and it caught their attention enough for them to focus on it and share it, which was amazing and really flattering.
Darren, you missed several words from that game name. I will not be reading it aloud until you correct your mistake.
Yes, we're word blind, Darren. We can't see it unless it has.
Thank you, Cheese Me, for mentioning the multi-award winning Moonstone there.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, do not expect a golden. But look, mate, the other thing is, Trevor, I don't know what I've got 20 odd projects on there now. Everything from tiny little stupid fan fiction things to, just photo collections of my Necron army for 40k. Do not expect every
entry
to get yourself a golden button. I mean, I'm not being funny, but just take a look at some of the quality and some of the projects that get put up on that system. Some of the people who are vying for the attention of the guys at the studio, they're pretty top level fucking hobbyists. There is some amazing stuff gets put up.
Pandy doing a shout out there.
Oh dear.
You know what? Okay,
I never thought of that, Ewok. Once you have more than one golden button, you become technically multi-award winning. Like I say, mate, you've just got to keep at it. And again, it'll just don't expect it, because the things that you'll put up 10 projects, and the one that was like an afterthought and you haven't really finished it properly and you weren't even thinking about it, will probably be the one that will get the golden button, because there'll be something you've done there that Jerry will want to talk about for 20 minutes. So he'll say, right, I want that on the show. Give that a golden button.
Again, cheese me here. Don't worry about the buttons.
No, that's not the point. It isn't the point.
Do it for you.
Because that's the other thing as well. Obviously, my Dungeons and Doggos project had already won a golden button in its infancy before it was even fully finished. And I've been adding to it, and I even put it in as part of the Spring Clean Challenge, because it was something that was hanging over me and I hadn't finished it. obviously it's already won one award. The chances that it would win something else is microscopically tiny. So that's not the point of doing it, though, is it? Ultimately, I'd started a project and I needed to finish it. Yes, I was shooting myself in the foot by putting it forward for that, but that's not why that's not why we do these things. If we do these things, I'll be honest, if you're doing these things for the recognition, I mean, you're doing it wrong. I mean, let's be fair to Paul here from Pandyman. Pandyman Entertainment is his day job and his livelihood. I can understand why he craves every bit of attention he can get, because he's got a lot riding on it. We're just amateur hobbyists. We've got nothing
Shut
but...
up, cheese me. Nobody noticed.
What's that?
I'm using my vibrator.
You know, the rest of us are just amateur hobbyists. We've got nothing riding on this other than the respect and the praise of our friends, which is, you know, fucking amazing, frankly. And never ceases to amaze me when I do get a mention. But, you know, we're not doing it like David and I both have day jobs. This isn't our day job. We're not professionals at this, as you can probably fucking tell. So, you know, things are a bit different for Paul, but for the rest of us, you know, this is amateur hour gone bonkers, isn't it?
Yep.
So yeah, there's a very long-winded answer to your question, mate. And it was a good question, in fairness. But like I say, there isn't a plan, there isn't a magic recipe, there isn't a guaranteed success. You just
Look at it this way, Trevor. The more dice you roll, the more likely you're going to roll sixes.
Just do something weird. Do something attention grabbing. I mean, yeah, do you know what? I don't think I've ever seen a golden button given merely on masterful execution of something mundane. Does that make sense? You know.
I know what you mean. I don't know whether people at home will know what you mean. But...
Yeah, I'm not sure if that is clear what I do mean to everybody at home. But I don't recall ever seeing them just give a golden button because, oh yeah, that's painted brilliantly. And it was literally just painted brilliantly out the box with nothing else with it. You know, whether that be fantastic tutoring, a great explanation of why the colour scheme was used or the background, blah, blah, blah. To be fair, that is. Do you know what? Cheese Me makes another. That is a very good point, Cheese Me, because don't sleep on the fact that Jerry and Tim will. I mean, again, Tim's fantastic because if he ever does visit your project and talk about you on the unofficial hobby hangout on Tuesday, you will always know if you've got your notifications on because he will post a comment to let you know that they've been poking around inside your project. And you know, again, it's not a golden button from the official crew on the weekender, but it's still recognition. And to be honest, it's they will spend more time talking about your project sometimes than they will on the weekender. Because that's basically all that show is, just going through people's projects and deep diving on them.
Or ripping the shit out of them.
Yeah, plus the fact, getting recognition from Jerry is like 10 times more important than getting recognition from anybody else on the OTT team, because everybody knows Jerry is Jesus.
How much has he paid you to suck his cock for that answer?
Jerry is gaming Jesus.
He was gaming Gandalf not long ago.
Oh, Gandalf's just a pretender. Jerry's more important than Gandalf.
The cult of Jerry.
Yeah. He's fucking funny.
I don't like American infantry, flames of war faces.
Why?
Because they're fucking tiny.
So it's just a scale thing. It's not that they're badly moulded. It's just that they're too small for you to be asked
Well,
to
they're
paint.
not really moulded very well.
Okay. Right, it's 9 o'clock. I tell you what else I don't like about this bloody painting binocular thing. I can't look over it like I could my other one and see the screen.
You have to take it off, do you, old man?
Well, I've got to keep fucking lifting it up. And again, it's got 2 pivot points. It's very well engineered because if I can show it tilts there, but it also tilts there, so you can really clear it out of your vision. But the other one, you could position it such as you could use it and then just look under it or look around it. But this one it's too fucking well engineered. It sits right in front of your face.
Look, I had a week off salting last week. Let me be salty. Fuck you lot. Spam, are you about to tell them what you do with vinegar, or am I?
Oh my god.
I'm not letting you live it down.
Oh my god, guys, what the fuck have you done? Quick. Where's the be right back? Right. Hello, Crispin. Goodbye, Crispin. Fucking hell. Oh, fucking hell.
The sea?
Fuck's sake. Oh. Crisps. Yeah, that's it. That's it, yeah.
Honest governor.
Fucking hell. Right. So, Bolt Action 3rd edition, guys. Okay. As everybody will know, and there might be a few of you on YouTube that don't know, so do you know what we're going to tell you? Bolt Action is a World War II miniatures war game made by Warlord Games here in the UK. It is currently in its 2nd edition, which was printed, I think, in 2016, so it's nearly 8 years old at this point. And in September of this year, yeah, you should see the fucking cost of fish, mate. I mean, we still have fish and chips occasionally, but it is getting preposterously expensive to buy cod and haddock here in the UK. Anyway, so yeah, it is getting its new edition in September, I believe. End of September, wasn't it, mate?
29th of September,
Yeah.
I think. Don't quote me, but around then.
So, having had a good week playing World War II games at club this week, David and I got onto the topic of the new Bolt Action, actually in response to a couple of news articles that Warlord themselves have released. Because I think they did one on the 10th of July, yesterday. Let me see if I can share that for the boys and girls at home. So, which is the one from yesterday? Oh my god.
Not Shakos. Cheese me. Spoilers.
Here we go. So, boom. So this was put out on. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it, Toros. Fucking 22 quid. Anyway, so this was put out 10th of July on Warlord community page. And it's basically, it's the first, the first article was April, and this was basically, hey, look, there's a 3rd edition coming. Then I think they announced in just around late June time, that there was going to be a new starter set, Battle of the Bulge 2-player starter set to go with the 3rd edition. But this is the first article that's come on that's actually said anything about really in depth about what's different about the game or what might be changing. And to summarize this article, basically army composition is going to be changing dramatically for Bolt Action 3rd edition. currently the way the Bolt Action second edition works is there is a generic platoon format that each of the nations in Bolt Action, the main ones anyway, gets to use out of the core rulebook, and it is basically an open list where you can take anything, but you're restricted by cap. The numbers are capped, so like you can take one tank, and it doesn't matter whether it's an early war tank, late war tank, whatever. Theatre specific freak variant that was only used in 4 fucking battles in the Philippines or whatever. You can put that with like anything you like, but you are restricted to the numbers of things. Like you might, again off the top of my
Only
head,
have one sniper time. You can only have
one flamethrower crew. You can only have one piece
You
of
can have 2
artillery.
forward observers if you're British, but everybody
Yeah.
else can only have 1.
Okay. So you've got this generic platoon which doesn't represent anything that was ever seen on the battlefield anywhere during the war. It's just like, yeah, they're all German units, and you're limited by what you can take, but you can pretty much pick from anything as long as you do it that way. And then they've got those lists, what they call the generic. I think the term is generic platoons, generic reinforced platoons, and then they've got theatre specific platoons. And basically, in all of the supplement books that they've released over the last 8 years, they have in those books, they have obviously stories about different parts of World War II, breakdowns of battles and conflicts, and how like the narrative of the war might have moved through a particular geography at a particular time. And then what they'll do is they'll say, and if you want to refight this, we recommend this format of platoon. And you'll find that it'll be more restrictive generally. So you won't be able to take the armor that wasn't allowed, that wasn't in that theatre. You won't be allowed to take.
We will come to that in a second, Toros.
So currently you've got these 2 ways to play Bolt Action, if you like. You've got the generic, it's World War II, but you're doing whatever the fuck you like with it. And then you've got if you want to recreate moments of the war, tell the story of the war in a more satisfying and accurate way. Don't get me wrong, Bolt Action is still not a game for rivet counters, as we would term them in wargaming. People who obsess about actual historical details and want everything to be as it was and only
Military
as it
accurate.
was. You know, Bolt Action never gets that deep into the weeds. I mean, you can do that sort of World War II gaming if you want to, and Bolt Action could even be the rule system you use to play it out. But Bolt Action itself never goes that far down that rabbit hole. As I say, it's got anything goes mode, and this is a bit more faithful to what would make sense if you were telling that story. So, and again, to speak from my personal experience, I've built a British platoon from the fall of Singapore era, and I've built a Japanese platoon from the end of the Malaya campaign, fall of Singapore era. So the British, they're mostly inexperienced troops. In Singapore, they hadn't got a lot of combat experience in the late 30s, the beginning of the war. The Japanese, however, did have combat experience. They'd already been fighting in China for years. So you've got much more veteran units in your Japanese lists. When they attacked Singapore Island, they'd already sunk some major elements of the British fleet, so they'd got pretty much full air power superiority. So I've got like an forward air observer in there for a bit of theme. The British were using a lot of Indian troops, a lot of Australian commandos. So again, I've got units in my list to represent those. But that's the type of Bolt Action I play, and I don't really go anywhere near the generic lists, because one of the things, the generic lists are very much more a feature of what we would call
Night Demon.
competitive night demon. They're more of a feature of the competitive side of bolt action, and in those lists, people will try to leverage every advantage they can to get an advantage in a tournament setting. And basically, that is going to change pretty dramatically for the reinforced generic platoon people.
Night Cheese Me.
Night. Cheese me. So so basically that is going to change completely, and now they've now got platoons that have types to them. So as you can see in this article, if I go back to here, the first thing that you've got is a generic rifle platoon, which is very infantry focused, just ordinary riflemen. See if I can make that a little bit bigger.
And you have to have a rifleman platoon per other platoon you pick.
Yeah. So these platoons will drive the other platoons in your list. There are a ton of videos that have gone into this much deeper than we're going to, I think. But basically, you've got your rifle platoon, which is your cornerstone starting point, and it has to have a command unit and 2 infantry squads, which don't have the engineer keyword. And then you can
Jackass.
Then you
you pulling our leg?
What was that?
His last comment. Reliably told by Warlord.
He is trolling us, because if you read the I think the first article, it says the order dice are not going anywhere, because obviously they wouldn't be bolt action if we got rid of the order dice. In fact, I can bring it up because I read it last night. So I'm fairly confident, Shakos, that you have been fibbed to, sir. The only thing that I will say is it does say that they are keeping the order dice in the article, but it doesn't say that it's keeping the mechanism by which they use to generate initiative. I knew it. He was trolling us all the time. Anyway, to come back to this. So you have your generic rifle platoon. Then you can have, there are 5 other types of platoon. So you've got heavy weapons platoon, which is focused more around fixed weapons like machine guns, mortars. Heavy gauge mortars, etc. You then have, what's this here? We've got engineer platoon, which is again infantry squads, but these will be the infantry squads that are equipped with like anti-tank grenades and explosives, and so they used for demolitions and removing heavier assets. You've got your artillery platoon, which is effectively command plus fixed artillery pieces of various calibers, small to medium. And then you've got a vehicle platoon, which is basically going to be tanks or armored cars. And the one that's most interesting, I think, I was watching the videos, is this recce infantry platoon, where basically it's like an infantry rifle platoon that we've talked about earlier, with the added thing that you can't really take any.
Is it motorized?
It is, that you can't really take a lot of mortars and support shit and snipers in it, but you can you have to take 1 transport for every squad. So basically the whole thing has to be mechanized. You can't have any, you can't have anybody on Shanks's pony in a recce platoon. You've got to have everybody on board something, which would be great for outflanking. Now, obviously, this is a dramatic difference, because whereas before we were basically using a single platoon, we're now using multiple platoons. Now,
with multiple NCOs, which means that your existing collection may need some new miniatures.
Yeah. Roll. Torinoko says now you have to roll the order dice randomly. Oh my god, it's like Shatter Point. Oh dear. So,
but this is where we said pre-stream, we feel bad for the tawny trolls.
Yeah. I don't know. So where do we start with this, mate? So let me tell you.
Actually, I know where we should start with this. Just go back
then.
to the main scene. Go back to the main scene a second.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to go to Video Ninja and hopefully get this to work. Come down to my desktop, boys and girls.
Down to David's desktop we go.
So we have my favourite World War II game now, which is Flames of War. And this is the listing for Bulge Americans. So we have what you can take as support units for your formation. And then what you actually have to do is build a formation that surrounds around one of these. So, for example, I have built it based on one of these two, which is an M4 Sherman Lake Company. In that, I get 4 Chaffee tanks, 2 HQ Shermans, 3 other Shermans, and 3 Shermans with Calliopes. That's my formation. Then as formation support, I am taking the Greyhound Cavalry, the Pershings, which don't even appear on this list, but we'll gloss over that because they are available, and some other bits and pieces. So Flames of War, or Bolt Action have now sort of taken a Flames of War style approach, saying, here's your particular platoon, or whatever what are they referring to it as? Is it a platoon?
Yeah, they are called platoons.
Here's your platoon, and in this platoon you can have at a minimum 1 and 2 options, but actually you can also have these others as supplemental. So what I saw last night when I was on Facebook about this, and saw this when we were talking about this pre-stream, is unlike before, where you could only have 1 sniper unit because it was 0 to 1 sniper units in your platoon that you were taking to a game now. What you could actually end up doing is have a squad of men, have the NCOs that are leading that squad as your minimum for your rifle platoon, add your sniper team, and then we'll do that again and do that again. And suddenly you end up with 3 or 4 sniper teams on the table. So there is unfortunately going to be a bit of game breaking in the tourney scene, I think, because of this build.
I mean,
and because of the choice that they have made here. But they have already categorically said as well, all of the theatre shit for 2nd edition, guess what, carries on into 3rd.
Yeah.
It's not affected.
Yeah.
And that is the major way that me and Paul are playing. Like, even if we're having a generic throwdown game between me or Paul or me and Ricky, we are bringing different theatres together.
Let me see if I can find where it talks about that in because it mentions it quite prominently.
I've done both NCO units, yes. Because again, There is a topic that links to this that me and Paul have already sort of touched on, and we will be discussing a bit more in depth in a minute. But tanks in bolt action. Because now if you want to take tanks as part of your platoon, because I don't know, you've already got some tanks from 2nd edition bolt action, and you want to carry on the good times into 3rd edition, what you might actually have to go and do now is go buy another tank or buy another support vehicle.
Yeah.
And change your list dramatically because of it. So there are some drawbacks to this new system and this new style that they've got going on.
Yeah, I mean,
but we'll come to the tank topic in a minute properly as to why we think it's a bad idea.
My thoughts, to be fair, you guys have already said that on Facebook there's been a lot of people on social media in general, and people are already losing their fucking minds about this. And I don't really, again, I'm going to be the odd man out because I don't fucking understand what the fuss is about. Okay, so I don't play, we've already said, I don't play competitive bolt action. I don't play the unlocked fucking unrestricted bolt action. But I have heard horror stories of people bringing tournament lists that are preposterous bollocks. You know, maximum numbers of minimum size squads, everybody in fucking some sort of stupid armored car that's covered in machine guns, with absolutely no fucking sense or reason to why you would build that in a historical or, you know, military context. So to say that the new system is going to encourage min-maxing and people being that guy at a bolt action tournament, I'm afraid the fucking horse has bolted, mate. The stable doors are flapping in the wind on this one. As soon as you enter any sort of competitive war game environment where winning is the ultimate goal, you can expect everything, including the blood of young children, to be basically sacrificed on that altar. And certainly historical accuracy and fair play are not going to have a fucking look in. Now, as David, I'm sure there will be people that will be bringing, you know, a ton of cheap units so they could just field 12 snipers, or there'll be some German player who brings 2 of the cheapest, scrubbiest, inexperienced infantry units and a nothing commander just so that he could run fucking 6 Nobelwerfer batteries or something retarded. It'll happen. I'm sure it's going to happen, but it's going to happen in a tournament where that kind of crap is probably happening already, and it's already pissing people off, because that's what happens. Yeah, or a load of Pershings. So
stop beating the Pershings up.
So I don't get it, internet. I don't understand what you're fucking going on about, because isn't this already a problem? Really? And do you know what? If we're playing in theatre and we're already saying, well, no, we won't, you know, this, it's like our example. The British during Singapore, the ones in Singapore Island, had no armoured support. They had minimal fucking light artillery. Because
the best they had was a Bren carrier with some machine guns on it.
Do you know what I mean? They'd got a few lightweight armoured vehicles from around the city, and that was about it. You know? It's like, if we're already doing that, that doesn't fucking change. Yes, I might need to, even if they say, well, you can use the selector, but we recommend you follow the, if you're including units, we recommend you follow the format where you have more command units so you can subdivide your force. Maybe the rules rely on it. Okay, fine. I'll instead of having one fucking big massive platoon of you know, my with all my machine gun and my mortars and that in it, I'll have a I'll get a separate command section and do like a heavy weapons platoon, so I can have them in that, and then put all of my infantry in a rifleman section and just pad it out or whatever. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. I'll buy half a dozen more models and I'll fix my lists, as long as I can keep generally the theme of what I was going for when I built them. And I just don't see from this one article that any of that is under threat. I don't understand why everything's got to be a fucking drama. Is basically where I'm coming from.
But counterpoint.
Yeah.
It is the same knee-jerk reaction that we get when GW turn around and say, "Oh, well, we're changing the points on." Think, "Oh, well, my list doesn't work anymore." Yeah, we'll play it for the enjoyment of the game, not to ruffle stomp your fucking opponents into the dirt, maybe, mate.
Because, as I say, I mean, when we were talking about this, David was definitely more animated than I was, and I think there was an element of him being a devil's advocate, wasn't there, mate? Hello, Tim. Good to see you, sir. Did you have a good game tonight? I'm assuming you've been battle tackling. So yeah, I think you would be a devil's advocate to some degree.
I'm pissed because they've completely changed how your army works. And at the moment, as has already been sat upon earlier in this thread and earlier in this discussion, there is not enough current other movement for people to make decisions or do stuff. So consequentially, why the fuck are people screaming, bitching, and moaning about it? But secondly, why the fuck, Warlord, are you not putting out more information to, I don't know, pacify the tawny players that we feel sorry for?
I mean, it does in the articles.
Because again,
it does in the article that we had up say that there will be more information for tournament and competitive gamers coming up. So I think at the moment, mate, we've got to be fair. They're drip feeding it. I mean, and Cheese Me called it earlier and said, really, it's a little bit early to start fucking getting your fucking knickers in or not, because they've got months to go, and there's going to be loads of these articles setting out different things. I mean, I've heard that one of the things they want to focus on is make machine guns more effective at giving units pins.
Yes, I've heard that shots are going up to 6 shots for machine guns and stuff now as well.
To be honest with you, I don't know what their plan is, but I would like to not see machine guns go up in their fire rate, particularly. What I would like to see is machine guns give extra pins. That's what I would like to see, and I think it would make machine guns make more sense in the context of the game.
Give it like a suppressive fire keyword or something.
Yes, because that is exactly the threat of a machine gun is what keeps a line locked down. The machine gun won't necessarily carve them into red ribbons unless they're fucking stupid enough to run at it. But it will create a situation where it will hand out pin markers like Smarties and just stop things from doing anything. That makes more, because again, this is something that I've always thought, and again, it's something that I've always thought was the best thing about bolt action, is that bolt action is not about casualties. Bolt action is about pin markers and the effective use of the pin system. At least in the games that I've played, but then again, I haven't played min-max tournament.
Here we go, compare and contrast. Pinning in Flames is just neither here nor there, really.
Shackles, mate. Go on, mate.
You can't pin tanks because they're armoured and they're just shrugging it all off.
Well, things. HE shots can pin tanks.
Not in Flames, though.
So you're talking about Flames now, okay.
This is what I'm saying. So in Flames, you don't lock down your army, you're only locking down infantry. But most of the times, they're on like a 3-up or a 2-up to get motivation to shrug those pins.
To be fair, though, the pin system in Flames is more akin to a stun rule, isn't it? It's something. The
Yeah,
core.
you can't go closer and other bits and
Yeah,
pieces. It
the
doesn't
core. The
actually
core
stop you shooting or doing stuff.
at its core. And I'm probably going to get flack for this, but I stand by it. At its core, Flames is a very Games Workshop mechanic in that you make 3 dice rolls, hit, save, and wound. It's just you make them in a different order than when you're doing it in 40k or whatever. But it's basically the same thing. You roll to hit, you roll to save, and then your firepower test is you roll to wound. And the outcome that you're looking for is the elimination of units, isn't it, mate? Your tanks
Yes.
sort of get because tanks have 2 wound statuses. They go bailed, then destroyed. They take a little bit more killing, but you're still removing models and eliminating assets. That's the game. Bolt action
Yes.
is different in that you don't need to eliminate any asset. All that you need to do is put 5 or 6 pin markers on it, and then the only fucking order it's taking is rally. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yep, you're doing nothing but rallying or failing an order test and going down. I don't care that I haven't killed one, and I don't care that you're not dead. You're basically dead. And that's the I don't think the 2 games are at all similar in that, are they? Pins don't work like that in Flames, do they?
No, but again, it's bolt action is an infantry focused game.
Correct. Yes.
Flames is an armor focused game.
And do you know what? Let's have this conversation. We're going to take a little bit of a tangent here because this doesn't necessarily. Well, actually, no, it does pertain to 3rd edition, and David's mentioned it already, right? If there's one thing that I am not I don't like necessarily is the way that the vehicle platoon works in this.
They've made the situation worse. So tanks in bolt action are already bad enough. Because what happens is typically both players bring a tank and both tanks are duking it out, shooting shit out of one another until one is tracked, penetrated, on fire, whatever it happens to be.
And then the other one.
At which point, the tank that was doing the shooting goes, right, well, I've done my job now. Where's the fucking infantry?
Yeah. And then
just
that
start
runs amok.
Shredding buildings, fucking tearing squads asunder, putting pins down on everything. It is fucking horrible.
And you can come at, by all means, the pushback, I can hear it in the chat even though I'm not seeing it, is that, oh yeah, but why don't you just put anti-tank grenades on 2 or 3 units? That way if your tank gets removed, then you've always got an option to remove the enemy armor, blah blah blah. Yeah, I could do that. So basically I pay a fucking ridiculous 150 points for a tank that might get shot off the table in the first turn of the game, especially if I'm playing against a German player who's bought something nuts like a Tiger or a fucking Panzer IV. And then if I just happen to lose it in the first turn of the game, that's all right because I spent like 40 to 60 points on 2 or 3 different infantry units as a backup plan. So there I've spent like 25 to 30% of my army on dealing with a tank. It's like David said,
again,
we've played a number of games of bolt action.
I was already salty about this, playing a Arnhem list.
Yeah.
So because I'm playing an Arnhem list, I am already pointed to the nines because everything's a paratrooper.
Everything's elite.
Jumping out the back of a plane, so it's elite as fuck. It's already quite expensive. The only legal anti-tank I can take as a paratrooper is a £6 fixed gun.
Good luck with that.
Handy if I've got the drop on somebody on, I don't know, the table layout and have got it positioned just right. Or secondly, a 12-inch Piat. So I've got to run with my cock out for a good 2 foot to get in anti-tank range. I'm all right, thank you.
Yeah. As I say, when David started bemoaning his lack of armor in his Arnhem list, because obviously it's all airborne, I was a little bit dismissive, and I was like, it'll be fine. But I have now played, I've lost count, 5 or 6 games of Bolt Action 2nd edition this year already. And I've played SAS in Jeeps with no armor against Germans with armor. I've played Japanese with a crappy Chiha against a Panzer IV. And I really, the more I play, the less I like tanks in Bolt Action. I am really not a fan of these. I'll give armored cars and the small armored vehicles a pass at the minute, but big medium-sized tanks in Bolt Action for me don't work very well. The rule system doesn't serve them very well.
When you've got HE shells and you just go, right, well, I've got no targets of opportunity that presented themselves because either my opponent didn't bring a tank or the opponent's tank hasn't come out to play with me yet. Right, there's a church over there because you've been on the receiving end of this.
Yeah.
Let's have a 3-inch HE shell go through that church window and fucking destroy the face of the German Volksmega squad inside. Oh, shit. Everybody's dead.
Yeah, and HE I don't have an issue with because it makes you use terrain differently, it makes you use buildings differently, certainly. As I say, I just think David's analysis of the way tanks work in Bolt Action, certainly in the games I've played, is basically that. The tanks duke it out, one of the tanks disables the other tank, and then that remaining tank will spend the rest of the game being a fucking pain in somebody's arse. And it's like, I don't like it. I don't think it makes any sense.
And they've made the situation worse into 3rd edition by making you take 2.
So now, if you want to bring a medium tank, you need to bring 2 vehicles in your vehicle platoon. Now, yeah, you could bring an armoured car or even a fucking, I don't know, probably a staff bloody officer's car and a tank. But you have to bring you need to bring 2 of whatever they are. And I already don't like vehicles in Bolt Action. The other thing is, Flames of War is such a good game. If you really do have a hard-on for World War II armour, I mean, I haven't played Achtung Panzer. That might be a really good game as well. But if you really have got a hard-on for World War II armour, play Flames. Flames does armour really well. It does lots of armour really well. So, it's like...
Does terrain interaction really well? Does infantry moving through buildings, etc. really well?
Yeah, bikes with sidecars. Yeah, definitely. Tim says he feels so misplaced here today. He doesn't care about Bolt Action 20. Tim, you should. It's a good game. Battle Group. Do you know what, Shakos? That's a good shout, mate. I've heard lots of good things about Battle Group, but I really haven't dabbled in it. I need to have a look at that rule set. You have, yeah. I will watch some YouTube videos on Battle Group, and see how it looks, because it's a really long established rule set, and it's been around for donkeys, and I think it plays at any scale? Question mark. It's one of those flexible rule sets. Correct me if I'm wrong,
we could have some 15mm and some 30mm.
Yeah, I think I mean, Shakos can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly sure that it is a super flexible rule set. So yeah, that's my only reservation about this 3rd edition Platoon bollocks, and it's because now that's fair enough. Tim says he doesn't really do historicals. They don't float his boat. To be honest with you, mate, they didn't have any engagement or ring for me for years, but I'm getting much more awakened to them. Yeah, squad or platoon up to company. It's pretty much any scale, 28, 20 or 15. Yeah, I'm going to have to... You've kicked my ass, Shakos, so I'm going to have a look at it. So yeah, that's my only fucking... contribution to the salt slide that is this new Bolt Action thing. And it's just that I don't want to see more fucking vehicles in bolt action. I want it to be an infantry focused game because that's where it works.
Yes, I am with you on that. But I also foresee. Oh, tell you the other thing we haven't spoken about, actually. Yep. Scenario generation. The fact that they are spicing that up and changing aspects of it.
I mean, they say
that is really nice.
Yeah, I think they said that in the first of the articles back in April that they were adding like because currently in Bolt Action Second Edition you get like 12 scenarios. I think they're like 6 sort of balanced symmetrical ones and 6 attacker defender weird asymmetric ones, and you can roll or pick those 12 scenarios. Now that's just the core rulebook. You obviously, one of the things about Bolt Action is we've talked about the campaign supplements. I haven't got mine to hand, but I've got I've got the New Guinea, I've got the armies of the Imperial Japan, I've got the Empire and Flames China and Japanese one, and in there's loads of fucking scenarios and extra rules for like night fighting and jungle fighting and stuff. So
Shakos, from what you have read there, for every other platoon than a rifle platoon, you have to have at least one rifle platoon. So if you take the armored car vehicle one that me and Paul have already been talking about and take 2 vehicles, you then need at least a rifleman platoon. You can take that at bare minimum, which is an NCO and 2 squads, isn't it?
Yeah, that's your minimum.
With the bare,
some
with the
sort
bare
of command
minimum
and 2 infantry squads, yeah.
What you can then do is go, well, I'll have now a artillery platoon, because fuck it, why not? Kit that out to the 9s and then take another bare bones rifleman platoon of 2 minis or 2 squads of troops and an NCO. Done.
Yeah. I mean, your argument in principle is a valid one. Okay, I take an infantry, I take a rifle platoon, and then I that only unlocks one of the options before I have to take another rifle platoon. So, do I want a tank or do I want a mortar and a machine gun? Yeah, okay, in principle you're right, but like David said, that's not how it's going to work. People are going to say, well, I need 2 cheap, shitty 5-man inexperienced squads and a cheap fucking second lieutenant inexperienced. That allows me to unlock tanks and heavy weapons.
Yeah.
So you end up with like 4 platoon lists. I'll be honest, they haven't said yet. Maybe there's going to be a platoon cap. Maybe you're only going to have 2 platoons, 3 platoons max. Maybe they've already thought about this.
Thing is, Shakos, basing it on what we know from second, yes, there are some changes being made to third. Machine guns are now more powerful, going to give out more pins. Why the fuck would I not want a heavy weapons platoon with a shit ton of machine guns in it?
Yeah, I mean, Shakos...
Spam is here. I have got some pictures. I just haven't got round to putting them up because I've been a busy boy, Tim.
Yeah, Shakos has said exactly what I said. That's the min-maxing tawny shit. You will not get rid of it. It doesn't matter how they rewrite the rules to build armies. The min-maxing tawny players will still min-max.
Yeah.
Literally, unless you say to them, this is the only way you can build your list. So don't even try, mate.
But again, that's what I liked. That's what I liked about second edition.
Yeah.
That you had no, you are not taking more than 1 sniper unit, 1 flamethrower unit, etc., etc.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, mate. You liked the fact that all that nonsense was capped off.
Yeah, because again, min-maxers will still min-max, but they had less to fucking min-max with. And now it's opened up like a can of worms. We have been here. This is what I said to you before stream yesterday. We have been here before. Look at 40k 7th edition detachments. Your Decurion detachments and everything else.
Yeah.
Where you took what worked and was good and left the bare essentials just that you needed to get by.
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like spammers volunteered. Thank you, darling.
Dear. I wouldn't take my Farage pictures down if I owned them. They'd be on the wall. But my wife likes a cottagey look, and pictures of Nigel Farage won't be. And to be fair, he's not that good to look at. Why the fucking hell would you want a picture of Farage on your wall? I don't want him on my wall. I want him in the fucking houses of Westminster, kicking the ass of these fucking career politicians who've never had a fucking day job. And are driving this country into the ground.
Or in the case of our local PM, or not PM, local fucking MP, have 3 day jobs.
Yeah, I won't. Let's not bring politics into it, because I can fucking go on for hours about that. So back to bolt action. Yeah. I mean, but one thing I was going to say, the 40k thing, the 40k thing is spot on. I tell you, one area where bolt action, though, I think, and I'm going to just say this, I could be completely wrong on this, but please God, I hope I'm not. It occurred to me that when we were talking about this last night and pre-stream, with 40k, if you look at Games Workshop's management and the way that they arrange 40k, effectively in 40k you have there are 3 ways to play: narrative, open, match play. Okay?
Yeah.
And basically, what you've got is a situation where they say, here's how you do narrative play, here's an example, here's a couple of scenarios, off you go. If you fancy that, you do that. Goodbye. Open play, again, play what you like. If you like that, you've got our permission to play like that. Off you go. Match play. Oh, in match play, come here. I tell you what we've got for you. We've got points updates every 3 months. We've got rules updates every 6 months, or whatever the fuck it is. We've got these fucking grand tournament packs. So with 40k, competitive is first, everything else is an afterthought. Now, the way it's worked with bolt action in the products that I've seen for 2nd edition is, here is your generic reinforced platoon system. If you want to just be the guy that puts soldiers on the table and then tries to kill your opponent and doesn't really worry about what they look like, what they do, doesn't matter to you, then there you go. If you're somebody who wants to do more with bolt action and explore the war and explore the history, come to us. Look, we've got this supplement for you, and we've got this supplement for you. And it's absolutely the opposite. And I hope to God that they keep that. That we just keep the emphasis on the narrative gamers, the historical sort of like interest gamers. In terms of the releases, the people who want to play in tournaments will play in the tournaments. They will do their own thing. They don't need support. The most support they'll need is FAQ clarifications when they inevitably degenerate into their arguments about who's got the upper hand in a particular situation. That's fine. You do that for them. But please God, Warlord, with this new edition, stick to what you've been doing. Focus on...
I'm a little annoyed myself that I haven't got round to playing 2nd edition. I've got the rulebook on the shelf behind me.
Yeah.
I've got my minis, but I've not actually played a 2nd edition bolt action game.
I mean, Orinoco says, I'll be interested to see what scenarios they put in the rulebook. I think what they've said in the article, the first article that came out, was that they're going to put a scenario generation system in. So I think it's going to be more like, if we all remember the classic 40k one, where you pick a deployment, then you can pick like a primary objective, secondary objective, and they're giving you a system to build a mission
A
without
game
giving
with
you an actual list of structured missions. And I
yeah.
think if that's what they go with in the core rulebook, Orinoco, I think that's cool. I think that's perfectly fine, because obviously that's where the supplements will come in. It's like, oh yeah, and there was this fantastic battle where the I don't know, the British fought off a German attack on this airfield in bloody, I don't know, northern Italy, and blah 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 blah. And if you want to recreate this battle, here's the sort of like here's what we would recommend. So that's what those supplements will be for. So I hope that they keep doing that. But I mean, do you want to, because this was the other thing David said, there was genuine feel bads about not being able to use his stuff, and already it's changed, and this has got echoes of the GW thing, hasn't it, mate, where stuff moves.
It's got massive echoes and feel bads for me,
because where you're trying to hit a moving target.
Again, we sat and pointed up last night the old 2nd edition starter and the new 3rd edition starter.
Yeah.
On the basis that your Americans are not veteran, they're just regulars. It's 500 points versus 500 points in that bulge starter, and it's the same in the 2nd edition stuff, because you've got American paratroopers versus Germans with a Hanomag. So there is that.
Yeah.
But I have major feel bads, because already looking at that list, my mortar and my anti-tank piece for my Arnhem list, if I'm doing, because again, I built my Arnhem theatre list on the basis that it could also do a generic platoon. So it is balanced in that regard. But the second thing being, my 6-pounder anti-tank gun, my mortar, well, they've now got to go into 2 separate squads, because I can't put the mortar in with the artillery piece.
You mean platoons? I've got to buy,
yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I've got to buy NCOs for that. I've got my bare bones, or not my bare bones, but my rifleman platoon that's got my squads in, got my command section in, got my medic in, got my snipers in, my flamethrowers that I've got in that 2nd edition list, they've got to go in engineering squads. Do you see what I mean? I'm already sat here going,
yeah.
Well, my entire army for 2nd edition that was a starter set, I have done nothing and bought nothing else other than the starter set, is now tore up and thrown out the window.
Yeah, I do know what you're saying, and what you're saying is perfectly valid. The only thing I would say is there is an element of bad luck, because this edition's been around for 8 years now, maybe, and if you'd have got into bolt action in year 2, you would have had plenty of time to play your list. You just happen to have hit the transition point where we're going to 3rd, and there's nothing to suggest that 4th edition is going to come along in 2 years. Do you know what I mean? I don't see any reason why Warlord would break that habit and actually not make 3rd edition a nice stable rule set that might last best part of a decade, unchanged in its basic format. So I totally get what you mean, that you've not had a chance to play with your toys and already you're looking, oh shit, have I got to change all of this stuff up? But like I say, number one, if it really pisses you off, we'll just play 2nd edition. It doesn't matter. We're only going to be playing between ourselves anyway, aren't we?
It's just irritating. It's irritating because, again, Warlord are a decent, reputable company. They don't change everything 5 minutes. I know exactly what you've just said with the fact that this edition's been going for 8 years now. I'm totally with you on that. But how I currently sat here feeling is they have made a fundamental change to how you build your army, to the point that my army now doesn't seem to work in 3rd edition. And this is just based off the rumor posts and what we have seen. Obviously, this is not without the entire rule book, so this could be a bit premature in my assumption.
Well, again, you don't, because you built it basically with a theatre selector in mind. Like it says in the first article they posted in April, it says theatre selectors will still be there. They'll all still be valid. The only thing that they will do is update points and rules for individual listings in either PDFs for the more niche and weird armies. Because, like, for example, my Empire and Flames book has got loads of information on how to build Chinese armies to fight the Sino-Japanese War for like 35, 36, 37.
Yeah.
And like, I can't imagine for a minute they're going to put that in the core book. If I want information for those Chinese armies, I imagine it's going to be a PDF. Now, one thing they haven't said is whether those PDFs are going to be free or not. That they haven't said. So whether
Yes.
I'm going to have to spend a $5 on an upgrade PDF so that I've got like 3rd edition stats for my Chinese armies, I don't know. I mean, again, it doesn't matter because I don't have any. But if I wanted to explore that book and explore that part of the war using my Japanese collection, I've got to do it.
I'm going to hard counter that, Shakos, with the previews that we've seen on the squads. I haven't got to just add another dude with a rifle. I've got to add 4 dudes with a rifle because I need 3 different extra NCOs for my artillery section, for my heavy weapons section, for my engineer section, for my
hard counter. You don't need to bring any support models with an officer. Officers can always be bought as single models.
But I've still got to go out and buy 3 new officer models.
Yes.
And yes, they are just a guy with a rifle.
Or a pistol and a stick, or whatever cool model you want to get for your 2nd lieutenant or 1st lieutenant.
But it's irritating.
Hi, Rich. See you later, Tim.
Bye, Tim.
Well, if you're not here, mate, make sure you win next week. Don't have 2 losses on the bounce, and enjoy. Yeah, well, we've nearly run our time, haven't we, mate?
Yeah.
It's coming up for 10 o'clock. I enjoyed that discussion. I apologise if everybody felt that we were a bit premature getting into the bolt action discussion this early, because, again, Cheese Me was dead right when he said it just as his parting shot as he left to go to bed. We
have 2 articles at the moment.
Yeah, we literally have the absolute fucking minimum to go on. But as I say, I wanted to talk about it because it fed into what we did at Club Night, and we both Bolt Action 2nd edition and Flames of War 4th edition are good games. I mean, we've heard Flames of War 3rd was better, but I never played it, so I don't know. But I know 4th is a good system.
And again, I prefer my armor. It's why I'm playing Flames more than I'm playing Bolt Action. It's the same reason that I've made the investment, so I have to build my 15mm table.
Yeah.
So that I can take elements of that 15mm table, the trees, the hills, the rivers, the dirt roads, pick them up and throw them into the 28mm bolt action system with a couple of buildings and go, right, we're done now.
Yeah. Another thing I will say as well is one of the strengths of the 2nd edition system, and I do think that this is going to be lost with the. I totally, in the article, Alessio says that they wanted, and I get this, right? What the problem that people have with bolt action right now is every army looks very similar. You have a command, 2 infantry units, and then one of this, 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 one of this. And it really does look very cookie cutter. And what they wanted was people to have the freedom to field oh, I've just got an entire mounted fucking universal carrier list with light arms and light mortars, or I've got a couple of tanks with some big units of infantry support and you know, some artillery at the back. They wanted people to be able to do these things, but I tell you what, this comes back to our we don't really like armor in bolt action. So Ricky and I, after our game on Monday, said, I tell you what, we'll both drop our tanks. I'll get rid of the Chiha, you get rid of the Panzer IV. We'll just repoint everything and see if we can just get 1,000 points of just infantry and support. And then we'll play bolt action like that and see if actually we do enjoy it more without the tanks. Now, Ricky, because all of his stuff is already veteran, he will probably have to buy. I was looking at either a squad of Fallschirmjäger, or he could even buy some more here engineers or grenadiers, something like that.
Yeah.
Just to fill the role of the tank and pad his list out to 1,000. With my Japanese, because I've basically built everything regular, I can just go, okay, make them veteran, make them veteran, make them veteran. I don't need to buy anything. I can just change the training level on my units and eat up all of the tank points. And I don't think I'll be able to pull a stunt like that with 3rd edition. I don't think 3rd edition's list building will give me that freedom, that much flexibility. Do you think?
No. I know this is the point that I've been trying to make with having to go out and buy extra NCOs.
Yeah.
Because we sat there and looked at it last night with your Japanese. You've got what? 2 squads of Japs.
I've got basically 3. I've got 3 10-man infantry sections, an 11-man the guys with the knee mortars. I can't remember what they're referred to. Engineers. I think the Japanese called them an engineer section.
Yeah.
So I've got which is a slightly bigger squad.
Your mountain gun, your MMG,
Chiha tank, forward air observer, and officer. I think that's it.
Yeah, see, again, you're falling into the same problem that your mountain gun's going to go into an artillery platoon.
And then I'll need I'll need a command I'll need a command for that.
Your MMG can't go in the squads.
No, so I'll have to put the MMG and mortar in a heavy squad, a heavy platoon, and then have a command for that.
And your tank, it's got to go in its
own. Yeah, the tank probably won't play with though, will we?
No, but
because we've already said, well, we don't really like armor in bolt action. The tank's a massive problem because I basically can't run a tank now. I've got to run a tank and another vehicle.
Now, you've got to now take 2 extra platoons, which is your mountain gun and your artillery. You've currently got 3 squads, so you're gonna have to go out and buy another squad, or divvy them up to be like 5-man squads.
No, why?
To get your 2 rifle platoons to have access to your mountain gun artillery platoon, and your machine gun platoon. This is the problem, boys and girls.
Well, except I won't because it's a selector list, but. Yeah.
But the point being, your reaction there said it all of just immediately. Ugh.
Yeah. And again, that's why we titled the stream as we did. And David said it earlier. I think if you are somebody who likes competitive bolt action, you've got a bit of work ahead of you. But to be fair, if you're into competitive tournament-based gaming, you're probably up for that. Do you know what I mean? You've probably already got a massive collection and have experimented with making the most wonky and broken lists. And you're probably creaming your pants at the possibility that you're going to be able to make something even more fucking stupid and broken than you could last year. Fine. Great. Love it. I'm not.
Go fun.
Yeah, as I say, and if I certainly think that if you are somebody who thinks and feels like me about bolt action, just keep calm, ignore all the drama on the internet. I don't think it's going to be that bad for people like us.
Shakos, this isn't War Machine. Get your fucking proxies off the table. Sorry, too much salt. Sorry,
or just bases, Shakos. Just buy cheap bases from War Games Atlantic. Just put the bases down.
I was less salty last week because Spam was here, so normal service has resumed.
Right. Okay, come on, guys. Let's wind it up. We've gone a little bit over time. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, David?
Hello.
You just went black, mate. I don't know what happened there.
I think my computer timed out.
Right, okay. Let's try that again after the scary David goes black moment. Yeah, thank you very much if you were here watching the stream with us. First of all, we're going to thank, as usual, our heroes over here in the chat. They are the people that make this, frankly, an enjoyable experience, and we're just a couple of idiots trying to, keep the machine running. If you can only find time to do one thing, please click the like button on the stream or the video later on YouTube. It's only a tiny thing, but it helps with the video, with the YouTube algorithm to get us recommended. Just give us that little bit more push to get people to engage with us. If you can do any of the other stuff, then that's bloody amazing, and by all means share, comment, subscribe and whatever, but a like is all we ask for. We will see you same time, same place next week, talking about potentially wargaming. Do you think, David?
We'll see. Let's see what this week brings.
Let's see how we feel. Maybe we'll talk about gardening or chess.
I think
chess,
gardening
which isn't a war game,
would be a good topic. I think the British landscape is another hot topic right now, so we will go and we will see you all next week.
Fucking burning British landscape. See you later, guys.